there everybody, so this is a video on Roca and her recovery after getting attacked by a bear. I am first off hoping that YouTube doesn't take this video down, as it is going to have some very graphic images, but it is for educational purposes. When this happened to her, I had no idea if she was going to survive, and I couldn't find anything similar that had happened to anybody else's goats. The closest I found was somebody's goat had a tear that was just on the first layer of skin, and all they had to do, Osa, leave it alone. All they had to do was have a vet stitch it up and then keep milking the goat out 3 times a day so that it didn't stretch too much and the goat didn't bag up. That was nothing compared to what she had with that bear. Her wounds on her back, she got bit on her shoulder. You can't really see it much anymore, but she got bit here and got bit on her haunches. I think what happened is when the bear bit her haunches, it also used its claw and just dragged it down her udder, and it made a big gaping hole. The hole was big enough you could stick your hand into the left side of her udder. But we had the vet come out, and the vet did think her chances were good. I honestly think that if she had to get a bad injury from a bear, the udder unfortunately was the best spot for it to happen, because all we had to do is dry her up, and it has just, we stopped milking her. We milked her just enough to get the pressure off of her right side. On the left side, the big gaping hole, the milk was just kind of oozing out of that side, so we didn't have to do anything there. But she has been drying up, and the wound's just been kind of sealing up as she goes with drying up. But I did want to go over exactly what her treatment was from day 1 when it started. And so when the vet got here, she first off just had to give me the black and white and say, there's going to be a lot of time that goes into fixing her up, and wanted to make sure that that was something I was willing to go through. She's my first goat, and she's awesome, so I was like, yes, let's go through with treatment. So the very first thing that the vet did was have me hold her just by collar and, her neck area, and injected her through a vein with some morphine type painkiller, and it did work immediately, and she was feeling better. And then followed it up with an antibiotic injection under her skin, and then a fluid antibiotic. Is kind of this yellow fluid that she actually pushed directly up into her udder. And then once the morphine had kicked in, or painkiller, I don't know that it was morphine. Once the painkiller kicked in, she just cut away all the dead tissue that had died, because from the time of the incident to the time the vet got here, there was a good 5 to 6 hours that had passed by, so some of her tissue had begun to die back there already. And aside from kind of cleaning it up, that was it for that. And then there was the homework that I had to take on from there. Since I do have a 2-year-old daughter who's still in diapers, the vet came up with the good idea of, hey, let's use those diapers to help cover the wound. And so I needed to diaper her for the first 3 days to kind of help keep it moist. And then after that, we could just let it start drying up. The next day, I needed to do another injection of the fluid antibiotic up into her udder, which I actually preferred over doing the injectable under the skin. It was easier to do, because she did not like the injectable under the skin the next time I had to do that. But there was 2 more injectable antibiotics to do every other day, 1 injection every other day. And then we got left with some painkillers that, again, 2 pills every other day for her. And then our routine with her was to bring her in at night in a big dog crate that we were able to borrow from our neighbors, and then keep her out in the pasture during the day so that she's not in the pen getting the poop and straw and stuff like that on her udder. Because once we did take the diaper off, then things did want to try and stick and cling to her udder, and once it stuck, it was like glue. I did take time one day where I was spraying the area down with a cooled down chamomile green tea mixture to kind of soften up the debris and get it off, and it wanted to stick like glue. I was able to get some of it off. It was mainly nerve-wracking for the first week, not knowing if once the antibiotic was gone, if she was going to get an infection, but she never did. And even like within the first hours after the incident, she still had her snotty little queen bee attitude. So her spirits were up, and it just got better from there. The behavioral wise, she wasn't eating as much for the first few days after the incident, so her poop did kind of change color. She never got diarrheal, but her poop got kind of a lighter cardboard color, whereas her normal poop is kind of the dark, almost black pellets that come out. But her diet, her appetite improved, and here she is. She survived and is great. So next I am going to do a slideshow of the images of her udder to show the progress of healing from when it was first torn open and to where it is now, which is basically almost healed up. I'll see if she'll let me get back there now. She's not too fond of us getting back there anymore with all the treatment and stuff. But yeah, it's just a little scab that's left, and she's going to be good. Okay, so here we go. This is Roca's udder, literally probably a week before she got attacked. I had gone around to get the goat's udder shots. This was for her fifth freshening. And this is what happened after the attack. This is literally within the hour that she got attacked and has the big tear that goes down into the left side of her udder. And that's, you could see the pieces hanging that the vet had to trim up afterwards. And we have the next day, you can still see some milk kind of oozing out from that left side of the udder. And you can see that her right side wasn't touched too bad. Like, it's pretty intact. We did, for the first couple of days, kind of relieve some of the pressure off the right side. So it was mainly that left side that was real bad. And if you just pushed up on her udder, the milk would kind of ooze out backwards. We got day 3, looking a little bit better. At this point, she's still in diapers. Day 6 is, obviously we have taken the diaper off at this point, and you can see we did start getting some straw sticking to the wet parts on her udder, but it is starting to close up. Day 9, still continuing to close up. I think at this point I had done the tea and tried to pick off some of the pieces. And it's still continuing. This is day 13. It's still continuing to close up. We do have a little bit more straw on there. And like I said, it's just like glue, just really hard to get off. Day 19, we are starting to get a nice big scab on there. And from here, it's pretty much a cycle of the wound scabbing up and then falling off. Here's day 23. I actually watched Roca itch her udder on a piece of wood and scratch off the scab. So you see a little bit of an open wound here again. But here at day 34, which was yesterday, it's just continuing to scab up, scab falls off, scabs back up until it's shrinking down to nothing. So from here, it's should be smooth sailing, just that last little scab, and she'll be pretty much back to normal. And that is her healing process from bear attack to now. It was well worth the vet visit. She's going to make it through. Her udder is healing up great. I think that we're still going to be able to breed her the next season, and she should be just fine. There is going to be a little bit of question on if that right side of her udder is going to have a little bit more problem with milk production. I think her or sorry, her left side might have a little bit less production, but I think her right side will be just fine. But I hope that this helps somebody else if they end up having their goat have a massive tear in their udder. If when it's that deep, if you're able to get the vet in and get some antibiotics, then she should be good. By the way, our vet visit for her, cost-wise, it was $70 for the vet to come out to our house. We had the option to take her to the vet, but we did not want to traumatize her any more than she already was, so we went ahead, bit the bullet, paid the $70 to have the vet come out here. But all in all, the vet visit total was about $350 for them to come out here, treat her, and for all the antibiotics, pain pills, and such. So it wasn't too bad, and she's going to be just fine. So I'm hoping that this helps somebody out, and we'll see you next video.